I'm Marino from Panama. I've been actually as a professional. I started studying music when I was like 5 years old. I could say that I became professional when I was 10 years old. That was my first band. I would say my first pro band actually, and my first tour. I quite remember that was I went to Spain.
By the way, I started playing a flute, which I was about, I would say, 11 years old, and a flute was given to me as a gift, and I used to hear a lot of Johnny Pacheco. He influenced me as well. Then I started hearing music, Afro-Cuban music. I started hearing a lot of guys that played flute as Johnny Pacheco did. But then there was more. I started hearing the conga, I started hearing the bongo, I started hearing the timbales. And then I found myself, actually. I said, well, I'm not a flutist. I'm a percussionist.
My name is Ralph. It was our day at the Corso. Ray Barretto saw me playing, and he recruited me into a new band that he was doing in 1977, 78. And I recorded my first record with Ray Barretto, Reconstruction, in 1978. I was with Ray Barretto for about 5 years, and in 1983 I joined Ruben Blades and Los Sedes Solal. I was an original member of Sedes Solal for 27 years.
And I'm a violinist, and I'm also a music educator. I teach violin, mostly strings, but my first instrument was clarinet.
I've always been a salsa fanatic. I've always been into salsa since I was young. I grew up around it since my parents and my family originate from Puerto Rico. And I would say I've started singing it since I was about 12, like really getting into it. Now is when I'm actually doing a little like movement with the salsa. We're putting a group together, and hopefully it works out. But yeah, I've been with the salsa scene.
I quite remember that. I remember when I was once again in 1980, 81, whatever, in the park. I remember that every Friday, it's like somebody was waiting for the call. You hear out of the sun a conga playing in the park. Somebody started tum 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 tum. It was at the call. Everybody started carrying bongos and stuff like to the park, and how people that you never ever met in your life, how you get together, how you started talking. It was like a community center, I would call it, a community center in the park, because that's how people used to talk and communicate and say, listen, my name is so-so, I used to talk and stuff like that. And I even remember that my first job in the United States was like that in the park, because I met this guy. He told me, oh yeah, what do you do? We started talking about music and stuff like that. I said, well, I'm an accountant. Oh, my friend is looking for an accountant and stuff like that. And I started working for this guy as an accountant. So the bottom line, the point is that it brings people together, it brings happiness, it brings joy. I mean, you started like communicating, so I don't know how to explain that, the joy, the happiness of the music start bringing people together. And that thing, sadly, that those days are gone, basically. You don't see no more jams on the park anymore. Those things have disappeared. That was every weekend situation. Pianos. I don't know how to send somebody carrying a piano in the park, getting the electricity out, believe it or not, out of the pole, the light. Yeah. Getting cables out of that and connecting. Believe it or not, it was a weird situation. You know, somebody come with a bass, with a congas, timbales, and was a completely jam. It was a party going on.
85% was all Puerto Ricans, and that's what you heard in the streets and what you heard in the neighborhood. It's all salsa dura. That's what it was at that time. It wasn't, you know, it was rumbón, you know, people playing in the streets. It was a lot of after hours. It was music all over the, you know, the neighborhood. Now you don't hear nothing like that. It's all gone.
You know, don't forget, in the 70s, you had a club. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday open with a top name band performing at that club. Whether it was Frankie Dante, La Conspiración, or it was La Orquesta Broadway, or Barreto, or Larry There was local bands. Yeah, orchestra DJ. In other words, and there was always 2 bands, 2, 3 bands a night at a club.
One of the things that happened with salsa is that with the new generation, it's changed for heavy salsa that we call salsa dura. Okay, was once again, it's singing about the lyrics used to talk about street, talk about, as a matter of fact, Hacha y Machete.
Juanito
Used
Alemania.
to talk about Juanito Alemania, you know. It wasn't that many.
Pedro Navaja.
We do have love songs, but not as much as happens today. Nowadays, I would say like 80-90% of the lyrics talk about I love you, you love me.
Mid-80s, that's when really took a turn to the salsa romantica. I would say in the 80s, maybe 85, 84, around there, you know. So that's when Eddie Santiago, Lalo Rodriguez, you know, Willie Gonzalez, most of the, I would say around that time.
So the one that has more rhythm to me is salsa dura. Why? Salsa dura just has more of a feel. It's more street, you know. Like we say in Spanish, if you're gonna sing salsa dura, lo tiene que cantar como si tú eras de la calle. You know, like if you're from the street. You know, we're not adding a lot of vibration to the music. You know, when we sing, we just singing it for the people out in the street. You know, like just to vibe on it, to feel more relaxed.
Salsa dura's always been there. The romantic phase, I think, kind of passed for it. I think the aggressive salsa dura style will remain.
I've been here for 45 years, and I went through all that has to do with salsa and all the music anyway, but the most popular in this area was the salsa music. We went through the boogaloo, we went through the romantic salsa, and now we have the reggaeton. But it's nothing better than the salsa dura, que is the one that all the dancers prefer and they enjoy the most.
The young people are always going to come out with another reggaeton rhythm or another genre of music that will come and probably go, and salsa will maintain. Because salsa has maintained itself throughout all the years and throughout the merengue, the bachata, the reggaeton, and those come and go, and salsa's still there.
I do like some reggaeton. I do, mostly the stuff that you sing, but to be honest with you, I go into say a club and they're playing salsa, you see people dancing, it looks beautiful, it looks classy, and it's just a beautiful crowd. And not just Latinos, just like everyone wants to be down with it. Everyone, you know, you see a lot of Asians, a lot of whites, you know, they want to learn our culture and our music.
Our music is being maintained by the young crowd. Salsa lives all around the world today. To tell you the truth, there's no barrier, there's no frontera, there's no barrier that can tell you where salsa has not been played, because it's been played all around the world.
Because 30 years ago, the movement in Central and South America wasn't as big as it is now. Who knew that Cali, Colombia would be la capital de la salsa, because in New York, there's not a scene anymore. There's nowhere compared to the scene that there was in the 60s and the 70s.
And even some of the 80s.
So right now, El Fuerte, right now, the thing that I think is keeping this music alive and is going to continue to keep it alive is countries like Colombia, Panama, Venezuela, Argentina's coming in there, Uruguay, Mexico.
You speak Spanish, to me it's important because it's a way to keep your roots and continue with it. So now, if you want to get into the salsa, you definitely have to know the language, okay? Otherwise, how you going to be singing salsa? How you going to talk about salsa? You have to dominate, let's put it away, the language of Spanish. Because salsa is a Spanish music, it's a Spanish rhythm. So to me, that would be the first step, you know, learning more about your roots, learning more about your language in order to be able to I mean, depending, once again, if you want to be a singer, depending what you want to be doing. Because believe me, I got a lot of kids in here, they don't speak Spanish and they play play salsa.
has to get more educated.
About its roots.
Yeah, because if you have reggaeton or you have bachata, why not add salsa into the sauce?
Into the sauce.
Exactly, because when I go out to a club, I don't just like to go into a place where a DJ is just playing bachata and reggaeton all night. I like to hear some salsa, I like to hear some merengue as
Merengue,
well.
of course.
Okay, so I feel there should be a comeback.
When I started in 1966 here. The salsa was very, very hot at that time. It was, everybody wanted to play the conga, bango, trumpet, you know, and it's not what's happening now. Now it's, you don't see the new generation, you know, interested in that. So that's why it has changed. They don't hear it also on the main stations. They don't play it, so you know, they're not interested.
I have had the pleasure to go to Australia, to Hong Kong, to Japan, to Hawaii, you know, places where you don't expect to be heard.
But I feel that kids these days, they just want to learn quick and easy stuff way too soon. Like they don't want to go through the process. There's a little process that you have to go when you learn an instrument. You have to learn the basics. You have to learn how to read music, especially salsa, because when you go to, like you see that piece of sheet music right over there, that's the trombone part. Like every instrument has a different job to do when you play salsa. So the piano is doing something, the bass player is doing another thing, then the violins comes in it in some parts of it. Even though a lot of the charanga music is sort of like almost dying because a lot of people don't want to read. They all want to play the instrument, but they don't want to read music. It's just a little... so it's almost like if you want to go to school without knowing your ABCs or counting. So you have to know, you have to have that basis.
Yeah.
My own experience, it takes forever to record somebody that can read music, because and then you have to be telling, okay, let's do this, basically verbally, do pram 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 pram, you know, and sometimes it's difficult to communicate what you want. And say, like, say, okay, give me this, patapam pram pram, what is it? Now, if you know how to read music, that's already in the paper. You just read, okay, let's do it, ragadakam, pradam, ranta. You know, it's a lot easier. As well, and then now the other part of it is the money side of it. People don't want to hire musicians that they don't know how to read in the studio. Why? Because studio is money. Now, if you don't know how to read music, you're going to be taking a lot of time to record. And that's hours, that's money. So that's why they bring somebody that you know how to read. Okay, what is, okay, let's do it. Boom, let's do, okay, next.